All right, so how you want to do this?
Hey, Mandalorian. You told me about the Mandalorian, and I waited so long to watch it because one, I didn't have a Disney Plus subscription, even though you gave me yours, but I
Mm,
couldn't watch it because it kept messing up on me. Like, it'll never load the video, so I was like, fuck, I don't watch it. So I waited all the way up until now. Was finally able to watch the whole first season. I did it in a day. It
damn.
was It was amazing. It was amazing. Honestly, I only liked the first and last episode. Everything
Mm,
else in the middle was just like it was nice. Everything else in the middle was like really nice, but it wasn't something like it was memorable to me. You know what I
mm.
mean? And man, I got so many feels when I watched this. Got so many. It was so freaking dope. When I saw it initially, in the first episode when Homeboy walks into the when they're like bossing around that little blue alien guy,
Mm.
and he walks in this cool like don't mess with me cowboy guy. It just felt like a western. It felt so much like a western when I was watching this. It almost felt like a tombstone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you come in, everybody shuts up. You know, oh, why on earth comes into this place? Everybody gets on their P's and Q's. And he steps into the bar. Homeboy tries to handle it, and everybody gets messed up. I,
Mm.
oh man, then how he cut that dude in half. I was like, oh my goodness. So good. So good.
I wish it was like a little bit more graphic.
I
Like
do too.
I wish it was like a rated R version of it, but it's Disney, so what are you gonna do? You know, good for
Oh,
what it is, though.
I kind of wish that at least if you show him, like, show the thing, like, closing, at least get it like an angle where you can see the legs drop. You know what I mean? Like from a
Yeah.
high point. You ain't got to show blood. Just show that. Yeah, he's half the
N-
man he used to be. So, what I was afraid of, like when I saw that first scene, what I immediately got afraid of is like, oh, I hope he's not the hero, like the total badass throughout the whole thing. Where you ever see
mm,
those movies and shows where he's
mm-mm.
just like such a badass that
Never gets
nothing,
hurt.
never gets hurt, never gets punched. He's like, I'm about to say he's like, what's the dude's name? Keanu Reeves, uh,
In what, John Wick? If that's
John
what you
Wick.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but John Wick gets hurt though. But it's just like I don't want to
Mm,
see like the hero that doesn't have his pitfalls,
yeah.
and they did not disappoint. And
Mm-mm.
they gave him a personality. I was like, how much personality can you give this guy knowing that he's behind the mask? So there's humor in it, there's comedy, there's action. I love that. I love how they gave him a personality. He's like that honorable samurai. Overall, the very first episode at the very beginning, as it starts going through and he's hunting for the package,
Mm,
it gave me that feel of Cowboy Bebop.
yeah.
And this reason I say that is because you see that there's other bounty hunters. So there's a bounty hunter guild and everything. I was like, okay, there's some
Competition.
competition out there. Yeah, so there's more of them, and then you realize that you're on a planet with nothing but like um, these
Scum
hunters,
and
bounty
villainy.
hunters. Yeah, well, no, I was talking about bounty hunters. It's like there's a bunch,
Mm,
like the whole guild is stationed there, so there's a bunch of bounty hunters everywhere, and it's like you don't really know how many bounty hunters there are when he goes back to the planet, to turn in his reward
mm.
until he realizes that it's like everybody is here as a bounty hunter. Damn near everybody outside is a bounty hunter. Like this is the home planet of nothing but bounty hunters. It's like, damn. Cowboy Bebop feels the same way. It's like when Spike and Jet, they like cross paths with other bounty hunters, and you know that they're out there and they're hunting for the bounties, and they're just trying to get paid. They don't care either way. First episode, best one liner. I can bring you in cold, or I can bring you in warm. I was like, I was like, yes, that's such a great one-liner. Such a great one-liner. Um, Toward the end, the shootout was amazing. Uh, oh man, that robot. Oh, I don't think I've ever liked a droid so much. I gotta say this one thing with the androids in the whole universe, like in the Star Wars
Mhm.
universe. There's they really know how to make you really like certain droids. Like,
Yeah, by
of course,
characteristics of them.
R2D2, yeah, R2D2 and C3PO, BB, what was it, BB-18 or some
BB-8.
shit? BB-8. There you go. No one. And then
I
you
like
got
the also like the one from what was it, Rogue One? I think.
yes, yeah, the tall black one.
Yeah, really like that one.
Actually, was that Rogue One, or was that no? That was the
Am I thinking of
Han Solo.
Hans? Yeah, because
Yep,
I'm trying to think
Han
that I
Solo.
don't think they had a yeah they didn't have one in Rogue One.
They had one in Rogue One, but it was a killer. Like it was coming after them as opposed to being at their side. I remember in the Han Solo one, it was Lando that had a
Yeah,
droid.
it was the
Oh,
sassy female robot that was talking
yeah.
shit. Loved it.
Female, male, androgynous robot.
Hey,
Never.
I'm just saying, if it was the future, I would date a robot.
Come on, we gotta be PC about these things. It's a non-binary robot. Wait. Is it non-binary if it uses binary code? You know what? That's a whole nother. Yeah. Anyway, so with this, that answer at the end, dude, like it was such a badass. Dude. It was just like
Mm.
the way it was shooting, and then like behind the back and like
That's the way
rotating
robots
his
would be.
body.
They don't have to see and conform to humanistic body movements. Everything's gonna be is like how quickly can I get something done in the most
Yeah,
efficient way possible.
it was so dope. And then we was like trying to split the reward with him, and he was like, "Yeah," but the robot was like, "But I get the credit," and it was just it was so cool to see him talking with this android, and you can see his personality. You can see that he also, it's not like he was fearful, but you can
Mm-hmm.
see that he was concerned about getting shot and you know getting the money or getting the credit or like having to split it with the android and trying to tell the droid to not self-destruct. It was like it was so good seeing that.
One thing I
Then at
will say about that is I like the fact that in the beginning he's like, "Oh, I don't like droids. I don't do this,"
yeah,
and by the end of the series, because of that robot, that changes his perspective on the droids. Because even at the beginning of season two, a droid comes in, or they talk about droids, and he doesn't, like you seen in one episode where he goes to, I think it was a Tatooine, and the ship
uh,
lady with the three droids, and he goes to repair his ship, and
yes,
he's like, don't touch
yes,
my ship. Well, he goes
yeah,
back. And they go to mess with his ship, and and he lets him do it. He doesn't say don't touch my ship no more. So
oh, okay.
it changes his perspective on droids because of what that droid did.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you ruining season two for me because I didn't know that. It's
You'll
something that
get
I
it.
would like. We're only talking about season one here, sir. So
Okay.
spoiler alert for me. We gotta do this in order.
Spoiler alert, man. Look, he dies in episode 2. Okay, straight up dies. Whole gets blown through his chest. No more Mandalorian. It's somebody else in a suit in episode 3.
I don't know if you're serious or not, and it's kind of upsetting.
You'll
Damn
have to watch season 2 to find out.
it! Anyway, because I seen pictures and I seen another armor. Damn. Anyway, so picks up Baby Yoda.
Mm,
When I saw this, it went from Cowboy Bebop feels to Samurai feels.
yeah.
And what I mean by that is like he was a part of the guild, he betrayed the guild supposedly, and then he was outcast from the guild, right? So
Mm,
when a samurai is outcast, they're considered a ronin. So they're just out there by themselves with only their contacts that they know.
mm,
And then he has this baby with him. I'm like, why does this look so familiar? Seeing this baby and this this Mandalorian, this like a samurai type thing, and I had to look up because I used to see this reference all the time in anime and pictures. It was like a samurai and a baby, and the baby would either be um, like by his side where he's holding his hand, or he's like strapped on his chest or on his back, and
Mm.
like this pops up so much. And when I looked it up, there is a movie. Well, there's a series of movies called Lone Wolf and Lone Wolf with Cub. Yeah, that. So this movie was made in 1972, and it's about the samurai who basically got set up. He used to be the executioner for the shogun,
Mm.
and at the very very beginning of this series, you see he goes and he executes a lord, and the lord is like probably 3 years old. Like, but yeah, he's
Okay.
basically a toddler, and he's carried to the thing like all the other samurai. They're like bowing and crying and stuff, and the Lord's second hand is like, you need to be strong and blah blah blah. This is disrespectful that you're tainting the name and blah blah blah. So he goes and he puts this baby down. Homeboy cuts his head off because again he's the shogun's executioner. So anytime anybody needs to die like respectfully, he comes, he shows up and does it. This dude got set up, and his whole clan and his wife got murdered by ninjas.
Mm.
And the only thing had left was the baby. Go back to that first picture. I need to show you something.
Okay.
So when you watch it, the banner, it says "Baby for Hire."
That should have been the
I
name of the
I was
movie.
so confused. I was like, "Baby for Hire." That's so weird. I thought it would be like Sword for Hire. So he does have another one that says Sword for Hire for him. But this one says Baby for Hire. And the only reason I know that is because like in subtitles, like but other people say that and they're like kind of confused about it. So this random woman runs up to the cart. She's like going crazy. She picks up the baby out the cart. I was like, ooh,
Mm.
she like stuff.
Yeah,
And
you
she
don't just.
starts trying to coddle it, like
Mm.
it's hers. She sits down and she pops up, she pops it out. She's like, "Oh, you hungry?" Blah blah blah, and she puts the baby up to
Mm.
the thing. And this kid, he's like 3, 4, something like that, and he's looking at the breasts. He's like, "What the fuck?" And he looks over at his dad. He's like almost for help, and his dad just has this stern look on his face, like I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" He gestured to do your job. So so the baby turns around and he's like, he pops it in
Pop it
there.
in.
Yep, did his job. I was like, yo, this is crazy. What am I watching right now? And the caregiver of the woman runs up, takes the baby. Well, because she gives the baby back and was like, I'm gonna save up some money and come see you again, blah blah. And so so the woman's like, here, let me pay you. So what happened was she went crazy because her child had died,
Mm.
and she had when it was adopted, so she had to give up her child for adoption, and the child ended up dying. So that drove her crazy. So she now sees any baby as her baby,
Mm.
and she was like, here, let me pay you, and he was like, no, don't worry about it, keep it. And then he says he was hungry anyway. I was like, if I was that baby, I'm like, you pay me, Had to pop some random titty in my mouth. Nah. So anyway, so this is what reminded me of the Mandalorian because you see Baby Yoda in that cradle, right?
Mm.
And in the first part of this, he's walking around with this cradle everywhere. Like everywhere he goes, the baby goes in this cradle. And then there was a part where um, when he tried to get Yoda to go to sleep, he
Mm.
closes the little hatch, and
Close the
that's the
thing. Yeah.
next picture. Yeah. So if you go to the next picture, you see he has this like tarp on top of him.
Mm.
So it actually it's cool because when it's folded, he unfolds it like this, and like he'll forward and fold it down, so it's like it's covered, and then he'll cover it with like his key. And I was like, that's really dope. And it reminded me of like that's the same way that Yoda's thing. It's like it closes in on itself, and it started to rain. That's why that happened. If you go forward one more, there was a few episodes where you see Mando holding Yoda as
Mm.
like like for instance during the um what was that part when they were the heist
Mm.
um where they all had the baby and they ended up falling and fucking chucked baby Yoda and then he picked them up and put them back. And also in the first episode or third episode maybe when he was fighting the horn beast and
Mm.
Yoda baby went with him. It's like he could have left the baby there. He went with him, and that reminded me of the cub fight scene in this one. And that's where he held his baby while he cut up all these other samurai. These are the shogunate samurai that was coming to kill him because he was framed for what had happened. So not only did they frame him and say that he killed his family, but he had this like little ornate like figurine or like statue thing
Mm.
inside of his temple. And when you have that in your temple, it's like a curse. So the ninjas had put that in there, and the shogun, well, somebody that was close with the shogun told them to do that. So that's what's framing them. So the shogun sent his people there to go kill him, and there was a bunch. There was a bunch. It ain't just five. He fought like 20. He was cutting them all up. He had the baby in his hand and everything. And I was like, oh, this is dope. This is so dope. He's fighting with a damn baby. Um, that reminded me of Yoda and the
Mm.
Mandalorian when like he's just out there with this fucking baby and he's still fighting. You know what I mean? Like fighting the horn beast. It's like that's all that stuff was dope. Everything else is kind of for me because if each episode kind of felt like a one-off in a way where it
Mm.
introduced characters, even though they are really important later in the story, they just kind of introduce you to this one part of the story here, and it gives you like a little bit of background. But it's more this person is dangerous,
Mm.
and you don't really capture them, but they show up later. Or like the one where he was riding the little fish things. It's like
Mm.
it teaches you how to ride the fish things. He knows where to go to for the Yoda package or whatever, and it's just one of those. It introduces you to all these different characters, and it doesn't really feel like there's an overarching story, even though there is one. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, does that
I
make
get you.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the complaints that people had with it. They said that it was if you watch it, it feels kind of slow, and that outside of the episodes where he's either looking for the child or doing something to progress that part of the storyline, like you just said, everything else is just episode of episode. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a good thing because it sets up the world that you're watching. Because
Same.
without
Yeah.
that, it's like you wouldn't have a lot of the moments that everybody loves, like him getting messed up by the Jawas or Nick Nolte's character, this is the way, or I have spoken, all of that.
That's the dude. That's who it. Oh, it's
like
what's the
everybody,
guy's name?
Nick Nolte, old guy in the
Make
back of the day,
Nolte?
Nick
Yeah,
Nolte.
yeah. He used to be. I want to say he was in Tombstone. He was one of the characters in Tombstone. Well, when he was young, technically, but he still
Maybe,
had gray hair.
but he was
And he has that very raspy voice.
yeah, he was have you seen the first Incredible Hulk movie?
The general. Yeah.
No, no, his
What?
dad, the guy at the end, the guy the general had chained to the chair. That was Nick Nolte.
The guy that the general had chained to the chair.
Yeah, he was Bruce Banner's dad. At,
Oh,
at, at the end, he took him and they talked and they gave him a serum. He became the lightning creature that he had to fight at the end of that movie.
gotcha. Never mind. I was thinking about somebody totally different.
Oh,
There,
okay.
there is another person. I can't think of his name right now, and like if I look it up, I feel like this is going to be like too long to look up. But
I
yeah,
get you.
I know exactly what you're talking about now, because he was also the guy that played the bear in what is that movie with all the animals? where they were
Which one?
stealing food. Yeah, when they were stealing food. There was a fox. Um, hmm. So it was a fox, a skunk, a turtle, and they were all over the hedge. That's what it was called, over the
I don't
hedge.
think I've
And it
seen that
was,
one.
yeah, yeah. The bear was that guy.
But I know, as far as the Mandalorian, a lot of the parts that people love aren't the story episodes; they're everything else. Like
Mm.
like I said, everything that the memes were made out of was all from those episodes that just felt like one-offs and stuff. So it definitely sets up everything else.
Yeah,
And you know, it's something I liked about it was that it definitely does have that Western feel. I wish it was a little bit more, like I said, rated R. I wish it was a little bit more Western, but it's great for what it is. And as a Star Wars fan, looking back on it, I know some of the references when they do them. I mean, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I'm a fan enough to where I've read the expanded material and I've seen all the movies and all that stuff.
mm-hmm.
Like they'll add hints or drop hints of certain characters or certain things, like the cantina that he goes into on Tatooine is basically the same cantina from the movie, shot for shot. The same
Mm-hmm.
table that they sit down on is the same one that Han Solo and the other guy was sitting
Yep,
down on. So
yep. When I
when
saw
you're
that, I
sitting
was like,
down
"Oh
there,
shit!"
when you sit down there, it's like, all right, somebody gonna get shot. That's just the way that's gonna go.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I was like, "Oh, hold up, man. He got a little, little. I'm gonna shoot you first type thing." But then when you really see, it, it's like, "Oh, he's a bitch." he's that's what it
Mm,
was. Like he was like he can't go after the thing himself. Yeah, like oh, bitch. But
yeah.
see, that was a few things that I didn't like about it. Is that certain things weren't consistent. You know,
What you
like it
mean?
just didn't make a lot of sense. Um, for instance, he needed he needed Mando's help for this bounty, right?
Mm,
He went out there and he really got manipulated by the sniper chick. It's like how easily can you be manipulated by her to go after him? How is that going to help?
mm,
And then he shot her, right? He shot her dead, and it's like, okay, so now that you shot her, you're gonna go after him. But that doesn't make any sense either. It's like what makes you think that after traveling with this dude in the desert, with your speeder bike, he basically saving your life and teaching you how to go and get this sniper, and you have to wait till night and stuff like that. Like he's doing all these things. Why did you think that taking a mechanic chick and a baby hostage would stop him from getting you? You know what I mean? It's like
mm.
it didn't make a lot of sense. So like seeing that is also her getting shot and then him killing him. Sorry, Mando killing the guy made it seem like that whole episode was meaningless.
Yeah.
Other than other than he had to jump through all these hoops just to get money to fix his ship. It's like you'd have been better off just
Sometimes it be
shooting
like
people taking
that.
his money.
Pretty much.
So that's what almost made it feel like a Cowboy Bebop episode. Was that in certain episodes, Spike would go through all these things to get this one bounty, and then end up either letting him go or him
Something
dying.
happens, then he's not able to get the reward or the bounty money for
Yeah, yeah, and it's just like that whole episode is meaningless now. But
it.
it's not really meaningless, you know. It's like it's just these little small setups, like that. Uh, like that person or those legs that you see go over to the sniper's body, and I just don't
Mm,
remember her name. And like bend down and mess with it. It's like okay,
mm,
that's foreshadowing, but you
yeah.
don't know who it is. It's just like all that stuff happened for that one little moment, and that's
Mm.
it.
Well, that's foreshadowing for the end of the season. That's what that is.
So who was that?
I think they said that was what's his name? Chicken guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Because I remember when that episode came out, everybody was like, "Oh, is it Jango Fett? Or is it Boba Fett? Is it somebody else?" But I think that's who that was supposed to be.
That doesn't make any sense because he showed up with like a whole platoon of people. It's like, why would he show up by himself just to mess with her body?
Well, because I'm assuming he was the person who sent her to come after the Mandalorian and everything.
Okay, so did he take something off of her? Did he retrieve the body, or it's like
And
again that
I
just
agree.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree with you, but that's I think what they said because otherwise it goes nowhere. If it's
Yeah,
not him, it doesn't matter.
and that's the
So
issue. That whole episode to me went nowhere because it's like everything that you just did became meaningless because the bounty's dead and you killed the dude that hired you to take the bounty. Also, his that's the other thing I was going to say is that the inconsistencies was it went from him being like I don't care about nobody but myself.
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get my money and I'm gonna go on about my business. It went from that to him like he said that the dude was like, "Yo, I got this bounty. I'll split it with you." And then he says, "Who is it?" So he tells him who it is. It's like, that's a highly trained assassin from Jabba the Hutt. It's like, I don't want that. And he literally says, "I don't want that." Right? Don't even want to mess with it. And Homeboy pops up like a little puppy dog. It's like, "Yo, man, this is the only thing that's gonna get me into the guild."
He was stupid.
And then he says, "Fine, give me the fob, meet me here." It's like, what? Why would you give a shit? It's like, you shouldn't care. I need to get into the guild. I need help with this. I'm like,
Yeah, no.
So there's a bunch more bounties out there that get you into the guild. You need to move on with this. You know what I mean? It's like, again, it was one of those moments where he just chooses to do it for, I guess, because he felt bad for him that he wanted to help him get into the guild. But it's like, I don't think his personality would be like, yeah, I don't care. Like I don't care what you want because I care what I want.
Yeah.
Right now, I need money. So rather than take that job, because he was going to take the job first, right? Then he found out who it was. Him saying that he wanted to get into the guild should not have changed his mind.
Yeah, he's not a bleeding heart type person.
Exactly.
It's one he's honorable, but that's not the same as helping out everybody you see.
Yeah. Now him like maybe coming up with an excuse about like how he's gonna go out there and die or something like that. Maybe, or maybe he would ask him a few pointers and then he'll be like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, let me teach you how it's done type thing.
Yeah.
Or at least say something enough to where he's like flaunting about how he's a Mandalorian. So, you're a great Mandalorian, blah, 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 like an assassin like that shit.
Guilt trip him into doing
something. But him just saying like, just pleading because he wants to get into a guild, I don't really think he should care, especially because he already left the guild and he knows how dishonorable a guild is in the first place. It's just the best way to get money.
Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of that the other bounty hunting guy, to be honest. He was the weakest part of that episode to me.
Yeah. So the other episode I didn't like, honestly, was the mission with the heist mission. I didn't like that one.
What? How'd you not like that one?
And overall, I liked how many different characters were in it, and I liked how everyone had their own personalities. Honestly, it felt like a Suicide Squad movie. It was like a better version of the Suicide Squad movie. And of course, you got Harley Quinn right there, and her brother,
like her,
the Joker.
I think my favorite one on the team was the big tall guy right there, because I know he plays. He's good at almost everything. Yeah, he's good at almost everything he plays in. And Bill Burr, he was my favorite part too.
I did enjoy Bill Burr being someone other than a comedian. And I remember I was watching an interview with him in it, and he was talking about how he went to somebody and just said, "Hey, when you gonna put me in a Star Wars movie?" It's like, "Want to be in one?" Okay. And he was like, "What?" It's like, "For real?" and they that's how he got the
Damn.
part. They just put him in the movie. I was like, that's dope. I mean, he's gonna die anyway, so it's like it doesn't.
But even
It's
still,
real.
that's a big credit. Like, you know, to say you're
It
in Star
is.
Wars,
It is.
that's huge.
I want to say he was talking about how everyone has been in Star Wars but him, and they just threw him in there. I was like, that's actually really cool. Um,
I
in
guess you could say
saying,
that about any of those big running franchises with the like MCU or anything that's long running like that.
yeah, yeah. There at this point, Disney's running out of actors to put into their
Yeah.
movies because they have everybody.
What do you think they do with all
Um,
those cartoon movies? They're grooming the minor audience the way when they grow up, they go put them in their movies. Like how many people like John Boyega be like, oh man, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I was like, just want to be in a movie. Yeah, that's what they doing, man. They know what they doing.
oh,
Pre-programming people to love Star Wars.
of course, of course. I feel like that's the generation that you have to hit. You have to hit the new
Yeah,
people that
it hit,
aren't
it
used
hit,
to
it,
older movies.
it hit my generation, and I think the generation a little bit older than that is when it first came out. So,
Mhm. The reason I didn't like the heist the heist episode
mm,
was again it didn't do it.
mm,
Like so there's two things. One, the heist was to get this person out, the brother of the
mm.
Denonu.
Yeah, male
Um,
Twi'lek.
yeah, Twi'lek. Thank you. It showed that Mando had relationships with those two people, well, those two Twi'leks,
Mm,
but not everybody else, and also that he had a relationship with that person that sent him on the job in the first place. What I didn't understand was when they did the whole mission and it showed how tactical he was. I think
mm.
that's what, to me, that's probably what it was. It's like it was just to show what he can actually do with little resources, or like how he actually fights. Because that was like the only time you see him like being like really, really tactical, other than the shootout.
Mm,
And he goes in, takes out everybody. I thought he killed everybody. Apparently, he didn't. That's
yeah,
that was one of my like. Why does he not just kill him? He's evaporated people with his lasers, with his laser rifle, but he's not killing these guys.
that's why I
That was that.
wished it was rated R because I love that part.
Yeah, there was that one part where Homeboy, like the Hellboy dude, he was holding up the door, and I was like, oh, he can pick up that door. That's messed up. And then he was like, wow. And then there was a whole other set of doors. So in my
see,
head,
see, I hated the fact that he lived through that. That made no sense.
yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like his head should have rolled, man. Like that should have been, he should have been dead. And then at
Yeah,
the end, you see him all inside the set. I'm like, what? Come
bullshit.
on.
They just
Yeah.
don't want to show him killing or, you know, them actually dying because you don't get pressed by two hydraulic doors and yo, I got a headache. No, you know, the metal doesn't conform around your body when it closes. No, you get
Mm-mm.
smushed down to little spaces like that. So that's bullshit.
Yep. Yep. So seeing that, and then seeing the guy, that station, who owns that station? Like, was that an Imperial station?
I think they said it was an imperial, or not imperial, a rebel prison transport or something like that.
Oh,
Because the
okay.
empire's been took down by this point, so
Okay.
they took down the Death Star and took out the Empire.
Never mind then. That makes sense. Because when I was looking at it, it looked like those droids belonged to the Empire, though. I thought those were Imperial droids that they were fighting.
Maybe, but because there's only small pockets of the Empire left, so I mean, maybe it was a prison transport ran by them.
Yeah, I think this it has to be because the guys with the helmets, with those long helmets, they're a part of the Empire.
Well, wait, did they have like long white banana shaped helmets? That's the rebels.
Really,
Hmm. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, empires, they're either going to be stormtroopers, people wearing gray suits, or people wearing all black.
So the
But they'll,
long
but
phallic shaped helmets are
mhm,
rebels. Okay, got you. So now that makes more sense because he was holding up the fob and saying that if he presses the button, it was going to be an
mhm.
airstrike that hits there. I thought that that would be like an empire type of
Mm-mm. I think what it was is if anybody broke loose, they're too dangerous to let live. So that's why they were
thing.
just gonna. So if anybody, if the prisoners took the ship, they're just gonna shoot down the ship. They're not gonna try to rescue another. I think that's what it
Got
was.
you. Okay, and it took him 20 minutes to get there. So then he put that. Okay, so here's the thing. So he did all that shit, right? I actually can't remember why he did it, like why he showed up to help them.
Mm,
I just don't remember, other than maybe it was to make money.
mm,
And he shows up, everybody ends up dying anyway, except for the guys in the prison because they're
mm.
still in the prison.
Yeah.
And then, no, wait, yeah, yeah, they're still in prison because they didn't die. We think they died, but then at the
Mm,
end it shows them in prison. It's like that's stupid. So technically, Bill Burr can come back
yeah.
because he didn't die. Um, and then he blows up that other station. I was like, why any of this episode? That's why I
Yeah.
didn't like it. Then it showed him being tactical. I didn't like the episode because I just didn't understand why the episode existed in the first place when
Just
they
to
could have
have Bill
did
Burr
more
and everybody
things.
else to do a cool heist episode. That's probably as far as that went.
Okay.
And plus another thing that probably makes it a little bit weird is if I remember right, each episode or maybe every couple of episodes are directed by different people. So this isn't just one director doing a show. That's something else too.
No, I think it's all directed by one person, John Favreau, right?
Well, he's the main guy doing it. But like for instance, Taika Waititi is the robot guy that was doing all the shooting. He directed one of the episodes. That's why he's in it. So yeah, it's not all just John Favreau,
Wait, the robot guy.
the one that's on the screen. That's Taika
Who?
Waititi.
Oh,
Yeah, ID 38 or whatever his model was called.
word. So
Yeah.
the android, the voice actor for the android,
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah. Yeah, that's
is a
why
director.
yeah, that's one thing he does with all of his stuff. Even with his MCU movies, he plays a character in all of those movies.
That's dope.
Like the big rock guy in the Thor movies. You know, the one that has like the weird voice. He was like, "Oh, the hammer pulled you off." Him, that's him in that and Ragnarok.
Oh, is that the one that was
Korg
missing
or
the leg?
whatever.
Korg,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, he's Korg in that.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's kind of
Wow.
like how James Gunn, the guy who does the Guardians movies, puts his brother in the movies and stuff. Same difference.
Really, who was he?
Uh, in Guardians, not Yandu secondhand person,
Oh, that's his
the
brother.
skinny guy. Yeah,
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 that's the one who ended up with the when Yandu died. He gave him
yeah,
the fin and everything. Oh, okay.
that's James Gunn's brother.
I did not know that. That's dope. There's only a few other parts I can say was like really good. The part where he went to the planet, tried to hide out, taught them how to fight back.
See,
Uh,
that was my episode. I didn't really like. I liked it for
why?
what it was. It had a lot of Yoda pandering. That's
Uh,
cool. You got Gina Carano who killed it. I liked her character. I liked that she was a badass. That's fine. But it's like I get it because it's that one episode you see in westerns and in anime where it's like, oh, I'm done with this life, and then you try to leave, but then the life pulls you back in. It's that one episode when they meet that chick, and
mhm.
you think they're gonna stay there, and then they don't. So I get why
Yeah,
it's there, but it's just like, eh, it didn't have to be, but I get
I
it.
liked it. I like how uh, one the chick. What's her name?
I think it's Gina Carano.
Okay, I like how they showcased her, and it wasn't an overly like a overly version of like feminism. You know what I mean? It's
Mm,
like she was a strong woman character who knew how to handle her own, and she was likable. You know,
Yeah.
she wasn't just like I'm stronger than any man type thing. It's like it. She didn't have to. It wasn't pushed in your face.
Yeah.
It's just like she, pardon my French, but in the best way possible, she's a bad bitch. You know what I mean? She knew how to fight. She can go toe to toe with the hero, and she's like, nope, I don't want no part of that. You know, but it's like she's enjoyable. Like I would like to see what she does without
Mm.
without Mando being there. Not for a whole episode, but like I would like to see her point of view on a lot of different things. Like
Yeah.
where is her character? Because it showed that she could be sensitive too, and it showed
Mm.
that she's strong. You know, it's just like this strong, buff woman that knows how to fight, but she's still like feminine. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I like that so much. It's to me that is what Captain Marvel should have been. Like
Yeah,
the
most
character,
definitely.
like Captain Marvel's character should have been her. It's like buff, strong, and can still be feminine and can still, you know, go toe to toe with any guy.
Yeah. And they don't have to throw her being a woman up in your face every 5 seconds.
Yeah, or better than you in your face. It's like, yeah, we know that, but it's like you don't have to say it. Just show it through actions as
Yeah.
opposed to like, her being an asshole. You know?
Mm.
I enjoyed a lot of that. And the inconsistency part that comes up with this is that when he was in the hut with his love interest, and she
Mm.
was like, have you ever taken your helmet off? He's like, no, never, and like not in front of anybody. And then literally she says, I'm gonna give you space so you can eat. She walks out,
Mm.
and at the window, at his hut window where he can see
Everybody can
all the
look in.
children playing, he literally sets his food down, takes his helmet off, and puts it on the windowsill. I'm like, bruh,
I know.
bruh.
Thought the same thing.
There's a bunch of fucking kids in Yoda, literally like maybe 10 feet away from you. At any point in time, somebody can be like,
Val
like,
destroyed.
you know what I mean? Just gone. Years gone. That's it. You're no longer in the group. Have you ever taken your helmet off in front of somebody? No. Yeah, and then that's it.
What did you think about all the? Well, but let me let you finish. My bad. I didn't mean to talk
my
about
bad. Like I just enjoyed that episode for that reason, and that was it. And other the A2ST or ATST, the Walker, I liked how evil that thing was. I know that they're manned, right? Like they're manned machines,
Yeah,
but
they're not automated.
They made it seem like it was automated because they were like, step forward, you bastard. Like to me, if like they were automated, somebody would know in there, like, I'm not stepping into that water. Like that's that's bait. But if it was automated, it would make more sense. So when I didn't see anybody in there, like I was expecting to see somebody in that glass, but when I didn't see anybody in there, and he threw the bomb, like the grenades in there, I was like, okay, maybe it was just the one automated version of the STs. You know what I mean? That it would just stand to reason that if you can make a humanoid droid,
they can make it fully automated. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so I just love that part, and then after it was all over, it was like cool, but still, it wasn't my favorite. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, how do you like all the stuff that they talked about Mandalorians and the lore and the Forge Master chick? This is the way and all that. Forge chick was probably my favorite character out of all of them, but outside of Mando, Forge chick.
I was thinking to myself, how come somebody didn't come get my family and then take me? I'm just kidding. But if the lore impressed me so much to where I felt disappointed about all the other old Star Wars movies. Like every time I seen Joe, I'm about to say Jojoba. I've been dealing with these oils too much. Jojoba Fett. Like Boba Fett and Jango Fett.
Boba Fett and Jango Fett.
Okay, when I say Jango Fett, I keep thinking about did Django, did Django Fett? It's like,
Just
oh,
picture
that's
Jamie Foxx in a suit of Beskar armor.
yeah, yeah. But it's like pep color blue. Um, like seeing those two characters
Mm,
in the old Star Wars movies, and they're shooting things and they're missing. It made
mm,
me. It's like seeing what this guy is, and then seeing what those two were, which they were supposed to be the strongest
yeah.
Mandalorians ever created, and it's like, no, they didn't. Obviously, they didn't find this guy. You know what I mean? Or any
Mm.
of the other Mandalorians that were out there that were way better than them.
Yeah,
It's
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 something that
effort.
that even I don't like because they were the ones who started the whole, I guess you could say, popularity about Mandalorians before they even called Mandalorians. You know, it was just them two, or at least Boba Fett back then.
Mm.
So they didn't really get all the lore until later with the expanded materials, like with the books, even the video games and stuff like that. That's what they're pulling a lot of, at least how they act, the mannerisms and all that stuff. That's where they took all of that from when they made this. Like how the Forge Lady chick, there was no like casual dialogue. It's just all business with all of
Yeah.
them. That's how they're like in most of the video games and stuff too. Like when you like if you ever play KOTOR, they got a whole segment where you deal with Mandalorians and both one and two, and they all act just like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're all incredibly militaristic. They're like the Saiyans of Star Wars for the most part. All they like
Yeah.
is war and honor and glory and all of that.
Gotcha. I probably say like Spartans more than Saiyans because I feel like Saiyans are just they all have attitudes. It's like
Well, I mean,
they're all
outside of attitude, it's the same thing. You're fighting for war, honor, and glory. Bigger the
yeah,
challenge, bigger the war. Fuck it, we don't care. We could do it. That's why they liked fighting Jedi's because Jedi's pretty much facilitated. It was like, oh, this is somebody who can actually fight back.
yeah. The
That's
biggest challenge.
yeah, and I think they lost the according to the game's lore, and they was like, yeah, we lost. We don't hold no, we don't hate him for it. I mean, we fought him. He gave us a great challenge. We lost. It's what it is. So they respected him
That's
more
yeah,
for it.
so dope. Um, damn. They actually sound like Predator.
Hmm. Same kind of sort of mentality.
I really liked that too. It's like it was to me two versions of the same character, like the strong
Hmm.
female character. Um, I also liked how she was almost like a mother figure, like a
Yeah.
stern mother figure where it's just like all these men follow her. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
she says something, that's what it is. And I do I like how Homeboy showed up and he was like he picked them up and they started fighting and she just let it happen. I was like, what? I was like, okay, nobody's stopping this, huh? They just about to duke it out. And then she said something. And it wasn't telling them to stop, but it was like she said something in accordance to like y'all you kind of pushing it with this being the way right now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like there's other foes out there, and then they just kind of stopped there. I was like, all right, yeah, you're right, you're right. They put their knives away. It's like that's so and how like it showed how the skill. I almost feel like there was a part where when she was making the shoulder piece,
Hmm.
like how delicate the work was and how like precise it looked.
Yeah.
It straight up reminded me of John Favreau's Chef movie.
Hmm.
In his movie, he was making a grilled cheese for his son, and he was like fucking with this grilled cheese so much. He was just checking it and moving it and making sure it's not on the same heat and just like sliding it and just
Hmm.
like making sure all the edges are crisp. I like it was so much attention to detail when you did it, and it just felt like that kind of transition over into making armor. I was like,
Hmm.
that's really cool, showing like how she's pouring the armor and melting it and everything. And oh my
It
goodness,
kind
that
of
last
reminded me
episode,
of like an old school way of doing it, like
yeah,
like how they used to forge swords and stuff back in the day.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah, just like that. Um, That last part, my goodness, man, it showed her how badass she was.
Hmm.
Like you look at this guy at this Mandalorian, he's surrounded by like what a few stormtroopers, and he has to shoot off like his most powerful weapon, like that
Yeah, the
whistle
singing
mechanic thing,
bird. They just added in a
the
picture.
singing bird. Yeah, it's like he has to fire that off. But her, she's like on her knees with her
Hmm.
hammer and
Yeah, I
her
think it's
like
coming up. I think it's the
pick.
list. It's like one of the last pictures that they show in there.
My goodness, my
Love that
goodness,
shot.
it was so badass, dog. That was the one part I was like, this is borderline rated R. It's about to be borderline rated R. When she turned and she smacked everybody with that hammer, and then she hit that one stormtrooper and it broke his helmet, I was like, oh my goodness. Watching that shit shatter on his face, I was like, can I see a little bit of blood in there? Just some specks. I just maybe some teeth, a few specks of teeth. I was like, just give me that. She told him up like a fuck. It's like she about to take out half a platoon down there by herself while she's down there. Oh man! And when she threw home went to the forge, I was like, oh no, he melted instant. I was like, so clean. I, again, first and last episode, best episodes. Oh, and then we got
Mm,
the jetpack. I wasn't too sure about the jetpack because she said that he wasn't ready for it, and
mm.
she said that his drills would start, and that the jetpack wouldn't listen to him until he
Mm.
finished his drills. Immediately when they get outside, he puts the jetpack on, and he does exactly what he needs to do. It's like, could I have a little something about how the jetpack should listen to him. Like maybe when he flies up there, puts the bomb on the thing, and comes down. Maybe as he tries to like slowly descend, the jetpack just says "fuck it" and cuts off.
You want the jetpack to be his Charizard?
Yes, 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 yes. That's exactly like that's how she explained it. It's
Yeah.
not gonna listen to you until you finish, I guess, programming it so it can understand your commands. It's like, so how would you just put it on your back and all of a sudden it understands what exactly you want it to do? So yeah, when he was falling, I would like it that, maybe 20 feet off the ground, the jetpack just says fuck it, and he just falls face first. But he wouldn't look like a badass, so I can understand why they
Mm.
did that. But still, it's eh, come on, come on. It's yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah. I liked it. It wasn't really a whole lot I disliked, but great season. Great season. Like I know I started season 2 and it's just even though it's like a year later, it's like it's the hype machine and the excitement is still there. It's like I can't every Friday I'm checking to see for a new episode. It's just because I like the show that much.
So a year later, we mean.
Well, season 1 of Mandalorian came out last year.
Oh, okay, okay. I
So,
thought
so
you meant
that's what I
like
mean. Like a
first.
year after it stopped, the excitement and stuff is still there. That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha. Go back to that last scene. That's the
Okay.
other thing I like. They put the black saber in it, so I
Mm-hmm.
had to I had to look it up. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's a
I
whole
remember,
thing.
yeah, I remember that black saber being special, and it's an ancient sword. Like it's an ancient lightsaber. So this
Mm-hmm.
one predates all the other new lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that from a book. There was man, I forgot the name of this book. I think I had told you about it. It was one of my friends had let me read it, or I got the audiobook for it, and then I also read it. Uh, in the book, it talked about how Jedi were training and how they trained. They had to go to the specific planet to train,
Mm-hmm.
and there, while they were training, they had all manners of weapons. So it wasn't just sabers. They had like not nunchucks, but they had like the throwing chains and they had staffs. They had a bunch of stuff, but they also had force powers and their form of martial arts. Not just swordplay. It was they actually had like
Mm-hmm.
a little martial arts like hand to hand combat as well. Even though they didn't really show it that much in any of the Star Wars movies. Uh, in that one, they had these swords that were like almost like I think they were called Kaiba sabers
Mm.
instead of lightsabers.
It makes sense because
And
I think that's the name of the crystals that they put in them.
it's yeah. So it had a crystal in it, but it also had a blade. But the crystal never emitted light. It was just like a
Mm.
really, really strong blade. And I remember in the series they had it was a brother and a sister, and this was basically the start of the light and the dark side of the force. So in nature they still had the force, right, and they were learning to control it and all this other stuff. And you had Jedi masters and shit like that. But this was the turn of like you see this really really strong dark side user, and her brother got corrupted with the dark side, and they ended up having to fight. What happened was she ended up breaking her saber, like both of them, like when they clashed together,
Mm.
and her force powers made this like made the crystal, like the crystal reacted to her force powers, and then all of a sudden a light beam came out, and it was pure light. So the light beam was the first like saber, like it was the first
Mm.
lightsaber. But that's what got to me was that in the book there wasn't a button; it would just work with your with
With
your
your
power.
force powers. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get you.
if you didn't have the force, you couldn't turn it on no matter what. But nowadays, there's a fucking button. It
Yeah,
just
they could just
flips it on.
make it. Yeah.
I was like, I don't see how that works, but I can understand having the force create the light and you're holding it there as like a saber and it's like concentrated
Yeah.
inside the crystal. So seeing the sword, I was like, I actually like that. That's really dope that they bring out this sword. And when I looked it up, it does have a blade on the inside of it. It's not just like a regular lightsaber. So
Mm.
there's metal. It's probably not metal. It's like a sword that's supposedly, I think, made out of the same material that um, Mando's armor is made out of. And
Beskar.
then there's a light beam top of that. So it's kind of like a dual type.
Mm.
So it's when I saw that, I was like, that's pretty dope. And there's only one. It's ancient, and it was made by a Mandalorian to fight
Mm.
Jedi. And then it ended up disappearing and changing hands multiple times throughout history, and then a few times in the Clone Wars, and especially with one of the generals who was a clone using
Mm.
one of the sabers, and then I think he ended up dead. And um, what's his face had it at one point. Darth Maul had it at one point,
Mm.
and he lost it. And then all of a sudden, I guess this guy now has it. Like he found it. I can't wait to see like how this progresses, and I kind of hope that they don't make any extended universe to explain all this stuff. That they'll actually explain it in the show, as
Yeah.
opposed to like, oh, he just has to say.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that even if they don't really explain it, I like the fact that they're pulling in stuff from the expanded universe. And
Mm-hmm.
as I don't know if I'm assuming it's mostly for just fan service, because like I think they've even announced in the news and stuff they're gonna have Boba Fett in season 2. So they it's like they're pulling in different stuff and changing different stuff to kind of fit the universe that they're setting up with the Mandalorian, and it feels like they should. This is what the movies or the recent movies should have been. So,
Wait a minute.
well,
Uh, I don't see how that's gonna work. When you said Boba Fett,
mm-hmm.
wouldn't he be like old as shit?
No, not super old.
Ah,
Mandalorian takes place after they blew up the Death Star and everything. The second one.
yeah. That's
So
50 years after the Clone Wars. Like, I think it's 50 or 60 years after the Clone Wars,
yeah,
because the Clone Wars took place.
yeah, Clone Wars.
And,
He was a kid, so
yeah. Oh well,
he had
yeah.
to grow up. I mean,
Maybe it'd be like 55 or something like that, or 60. Yeah,
yeah.
I guess
Plus
that makes sense.
futuristic medical technology. They got
Oh,
that I forget what was it called? Colto. It's like some kind of super alien medical seaweed that can heal everything in Star Wars. So
hmm.
Future science.
Yeah, we need to get on that.
I'm trying to get some Koto in my life, you know? I'm trying to live to be like 300.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I mean, unless you got any other questions for me. But,
Nah, I'm good. Season was great. Love it. I can't wait for us to catch up with season 2. That way we can talk about that.
right quick. Why does every main villain in all of Star Wars, you know they're badass when they got a cape? All of them have capes.
Yeah.
They have to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Is there anybody who doesn't have a cape? Now that I'm thinking about it.
Everybody had a cape. The only person that didn't have a cape was the Emperor, but he had robes that
Yeah, he had
acted like a
robes.
cape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had robes. Count
Vader has a
Dooku.
cape. Dooku
Yep.
had a cape.
Yep. Um,
Robot guy, he had a cape.
Robot guy. Oh, yep. Yeah. General
Grievous.
Grievous. Yep. He had a cape. This guy has a cape.
Mm-hmm.
Kylo Ren. He had a cape.
I don't want to call him a badass
No, he's not. He's not. But
though.
every main villain
Yeah.
in the universe, like he's your main bad guy when they have capes. They have to have a cape.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like how badass is he? He killed 10 Jedi. Does he have a cape? No, he's not badass. It's not. He needs a cape.
Sure. It has to be black and red.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Look. This show right here. Main guy.
Has a cape.
Mando himself has a cape. And his cape is dope. I love how they show it like this tattered and has holes in it at the bottom. I was like, oh, that's a cape. That's dope cape.
That's even better. That's
cape.
badass plus plus. That's what that is. The tattered look, if you can pull it off, always looks better. It's either tattered or it's just the over one shoulder cape. You know, those are the baddest ones.
Yeah.
But anyways, YouTube, if you guys want us to talk more about the Mandalorian, I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing it anyway. But if you guys want us to talk about anything specific, let us know down in the comments below. You got anything else, Jolly?
I have nothing else to say other than thank you guys very much. If you made it this far, thank you very much for sticking with us, watching it, and all the comments that we got, hitting that subscribe button because I see it and it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Yep. Like, comment, subscribe. You know, this is the way. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.